I think the center of or the core of our community, really a lot of people believe, is the downtown, and I agree with that. But we have a lot of businesses that are not just located downtown. So how we can revitalize that and making sure that we support an atmosphere that is welcoming for local businesses is very important. A lot of the interesting things that you'll see right now going on, and even previously, there are incentives being given to outside businesses and developers to come into our community for potential individuals to come and live in our community. But what are we doing for those who are already here, the mom and pop shops who are opening up, and the businesses who are trying to sustain their entity here in the downtown area? Some things that I think that we can do is to make sure that we incentivize local businesses by creating less stringent and burdensome regulations. That's not only on the developer side, that's even residentials. That's very important. Government has a big responsibility in that way. Second, we have a Main Street Advisory Board under the City Council that I think we can utilize a lot more. Working with our citizens and other community stakeholders is important to make sure that we're keeping what's important to the citizens at the core of everything that our local government does. And our Main Street Advisory Board, which City Council makes appointments to regularly, I think can be utilized a lot more to figure out what can we do not only for the downtown area, but for local businesses throughout our community. A lot of those initiatives I've seen and talked to individuals, those don't always get taken up by the City Council, and I think it's important that as mayor, you work very closely with the chair and members of those several boards, and also, if needed, create some type of community stakeholder group to work towards making sure that we find innovative solutions to all these issues facing our community, because businesses and jobs are the structure and core part of any living community.
Well, you know, this council and previous councils have been working very closely with the Kerr Economic Development Corporation. In fact, I serve on the EIC, Economic Improvement Corporation. Most recently, the most recent success is Megacrete, which will be a concrete products company. They're not making concrete, they're using concrete to make products. And there'll be about 40, well, good paying jobs there, but the real play is sales tax. Their headquarters will be here. So every unit they sell, the sales tax will come to Kerrville. And we've been working very hard to diversify the income streams for the city, not relying only on property tax, but trying to build other tax revenues. And it's been successful. Property tax revenues will be about $12 million this year, and sales tax will be about $11 million this year. So we rely less and less on property taxes to meet Kerrville's needs, and more on sales taxes.
There is one thing that I really am intrigued about as far as future job growth in Kerrville. And I would love to see a top-notch training school for all kinds of skills in the trades, such as welding, HVAC, auto repair, those types of trades, that plumbing, electrical, because we have a very heavy retirement base in our community. And retirees, I hear constantly, are trying to find people to provide those kinds of services. There seems to be a shortage. You wait weeks in order to get an irrigation guy or an HVAC guy to be able to come in and do work at your home. So these jobs also become very well-paying jobs with time. As a young person would go into a trade school, get their license in these areas, they can have a good job working for someone, and even a better one if they go forward and form their own business. I think we can support that kind of growth, and I would really like to see us work hard on that.
Well, the strategies are pretty simple. You have to have the housing. So we're actively working on attainable housing for Kerrville. It's part of the 2050 plan, because without housing, you cannot keep your critical workers. And by critical workers, I mean law enforcement, I mean first responders, teachers, those kinds, healthcare workers. We need attainable housing for that segment of our population in order to stimulate job growth.
Well, interestingly enough, my wife, many, many years ago, before we moved here, so that's 33, 34 years ago, worked for the Downtown Raleigh Development Corporation in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I observed at that time through the work that they were doing, and this was early on in a lot of these downtown developments and a lot of these other kind of organizations, that many times they're almost as much kind of a PR and a presentation piece as they really have the ability to strike deals and bring people to town. I always kind of believe with what Darrell Royal said. Darrell Royal said, you dance with the one that brung you. And what brought us all to Kerrville, I came here for the weather, I came here for the climate, I came here for the scenery, I came here for the hunting, I came here for the fishing, I came here for the small town, I came here for the community aspect of it, I came here for the ability to know my neighbors, I came here for safety and security and not having to be in the madhouse of the world. I grew up in North Dallas. I could have stayed in North Dallas, but I didn't want anything to do with North Dallas. I moved here. I think what we really need to do is make sure that we're enhancing those things that brought everybody here. And yes, I'm a developer. I develop stuff. I'm certainly interested in growth. But I'll tell you, when I built my office park across from the Catholic Church playground, I bought the land in 2002, and I still have one site that I haven't developed. And so literally, you have to look at things on a much longer term basis, and we're not going to be able, unfortunately, to shift the tax base completely to business. We've always been a bedroom community. We need to be a very economically viable bedroom community with low taxes and with all the things that all of us moved here for. And unfortunately, I think some people are kind of losing sight of that perspective.